Our investment wasn't in the next NVIDIA, but there was a return. We have often talked in our videos about one of the key components of our meetings together being our start, stop, keep, where we take a look at the things that we have been doing and see what do we want to change, what do we want to add, what do we want to take away. It's a good time for reflection to see if the things that we have been doing are making the progress that we want them to be making in our journey.
And today we went even deeper than we normally do in that reflection. We've talked in the past, fairly recently, about a lot of changes that have been going on, and we just recently had a wedding in our family, and that was taking a lot of our attention. Part of our conversation today was, now that that's over, how much time can we afford to put into this project? And my time, I think, is freeing up a little bit. We're talking about yours.
My time seems to just keep getting more and more full. I have new responsibilities, new opportunities that are going to be taking up time, but that are also very valuable, and that I want to make sure I'm putting the appropriate time into. And anytime you have new things to put time into, there are things that time needs to be taken away from.
And in yours, it's not just a new level of demand on your time, but there's a trajectory of probably increasing. Mm-hmm. So as we had that conversation, you asked me a question, and you said, well, first of all, we talked about what is that going to change,
and how that changes my involvement. I said I still want to be involved in the novel. I don't want to give up on the novel, but I also don't know that I can make consistent commitments to providing output in the progression of the novel.
So where we landed is we'll keep having our conversations together, because I really value Nathan's thinking and his challenging of my thinking. So we will continue to have our regular meetings where we can talk about, hey, where is this novel going? But when it comes to who's going to actually put words on paper or pixels on paper, on screen, who's going to actually type, who's going to actually compose the words, that's probably going to be pretty much my responsibility. And then in response to that, your question to me was, what does that mean for the videos? Because your observation was, if I'm not contributing to the novel, what am I going to contribute to the videos?
And especially if I'm not taking the time outside of our meetings to do some brainstorming, to hone the skill, to make any sort of progress within myself, and to really bring anything to the table in the videos to be able to share that's actually interesting.
Mm-hmm. So that prompted a further conversation of, why did we even start doing the videos in the first place? And there were really three reasons that prompted us to do these videos. Reason number one, that we hoped it would help us to build an audience and to be able to give us a runway for marketing, so that when we had the book, there would be people who are interested in it already. Secondly, it was really to serve as an incentive for us to keep making progress, for us to keep putting something in, because we've made this comment before in the video. We've got a video to produce, so we'd better come up with something. We better make some progress on the novel. And the third was to have a record, so that after we achieve that status of New York Times best-selling authors, that there's a record of how we got there, kind of a documentary. And so we looked at how valuable are those to us still. And I shared something that I think I learned from Spencer Greenberg in his Clearer Thinking newsletter about major successes. When there is a trait that ends up being the result of the sum of other traits, it tends to follow a normal distribution curve, and the average tends to really stand out. But when it's the product of multiplying all these traits multiplied together that leads to success, then the curve looks different, and you have these outliers all the way at the end that just kind of spike up. And that's where you have the billionaires, the Elon Musks, the New York Times bestsellers that actually sell all the copies. It takes a lot of different traits, not just added together, but multiplied together. And so if any one of those is missing, the likelihood of hitting that outlier status pretty much disappears. And when we looked at what do we have going for us, we can put the commitment into getting the quality. We can develop the skills if we choose to put that effort in. What we don't have necessarily are things like the built-in passion of this is everything I want to do with my life. The connections with people who are in the industry, who can make it happen, who can make introductions. So the things that led us to create videos, they're no longer as attractive, no longer as big of an incentive.
And you mentioned the seeing videos as a motivator. One of the things that you mentioned as we were talking was we still have a bit of an internal motivator. We still both want to finish this project. We still want to see this story come to completion. We've talked before about how we feel a little bit of a
responsibility to our characters.
That's the word. Yeah, responsibility to our characters to tell their story and to do them justice in how the story is presented. And that's still a motivator for us.
And the relationship with each other.
Yes.
I mentioned to you that to hear you say, I don't want to give up on the novel, meant more to me than just, hey, we're committed to the project. There's also a commitment to each other. At least I received it as, hey, I still want to hang out with you, Dad. So there's that value in it.
Yeah, and I will definitely continue to enjoy that. Probably even more so enjoy our times discussing the novel, because some of that pressure of creating something every other week to present is off, and it can feel more natural, I guess. So looking back on the past 100 videos, which our last video was a reflection on the journey so far,
which I thought, well, just the timing of that was very interesting.
It is. And looking back, it can kind of feel initially it can kind of feel like a failure. Like we had these goals that we wanted to achieve and we're not achieving them. But a failure does not mean what you said is a failure is different than a mistake.
Yes. Just because the experiment, which we approach this thinking, we don't know what's going to happen with these videos. Let's just find out. It's possible that it could generate a big following. Just because the experiment doesn't produce the results that you had hoped for doesn't mean you should not have performed the experiment.
We made a big investment of time and energy into this project, and our investment wasn't in the next NVIDIA, but
we didn't get that outsized return.
But there was a return, and our last video details some of that. We talk about the things that we've learned, that some of which were more specific to writing, but others that are going to help us in other areas of life as well. And so we definitely, looking back, I am glad that we went through this process, and I wouldn't change having gone through that. There's no regret, and it doesn't feel like we wasted the effort to make those 100 videos because it didn't meet the goals that we originally had.
And even having the conversation, there was a lot of internal, I don't even know what the word is that I'm looking for, but it can be hard to let go of something like something public. Like we've been producing a video every 2 weeks, and we started out every week. It was hard to step back to every 2 weeks, and it's hard to walk away because we can feel like there was somewhere I was going with this, and I lost it. Something that we had a conversation.
I'm trying to backtrack on what we were just thinking about. We were talking about how
no, I lost it again. I had it. This is what happens when I try to write too. It's like anyway, I'll put it in the comments if I can remember it later.
So yeah, we were talking about how as we do our self-reflection, and things that it can feel hard to let go of things. We were definitely talking on that. But just because
we often can be attached to the idea of having been right. And we don't want to change because to change feels like admitting that I wasn't right. And we can be so attached to wanting to have been right that we're not willing to make the change to become or to do what is now right for the moving forward. That's what it was.
Yeah. And I think especially in our instance, just because we are making a change to become right now doesn't mean that we were wrong before.
Right.
It was the right thing to do at the time. This is the right thing to do now. That is one of the benefits of the consistent self-reflection that I think has made this decision easier, is the fact that we have had that self-reflection in the past, and we have made the decision to change things, to adjust, to have a new strategy for how we're doing things.
It was a written item on our agenda every time.
Every time, start, stop, keep. What do we want to change about our process? Just happens that this is a really big change to our process. So we don't have a question for you to answer in the comments today, but more so a challenge. And that is to do some self-reflection about what you might want to change about your strategy in any area of life, really. This start, stop, keep is something that can really be applied to any area of life. Do some self-reflection. Figure out, is your current course of action aligning with your values? Is it giving you the return that you are wanting to see? And if not, how can you change to best get that return? We won't see you in 2 weeks.
But thank you for joining us on the journey so far.
Yes, we hope you have enjoyed seeing our process, seeing the things that we've learned. We hope it has been helpful to you, and that we hope that you take some of the things that you have learned, apply them to your own lives, and that it is helpful for you on your own journey.